How is it going, everybody? You're watching Then About Tech, and today I'm going to tell you which iPhone you should buy 2024 edition. That's right, the updated video where I give you my iPhone buying guide and I tell you which iPhone is the best buy for you. So, let's get started. So first things first, you only see on this list iPhones that are compatible with iOS 17. So iPhones that can actually run iOS 17, just because iPhones older than that are just too old. It makes no sense for me to recommend you a good new iPhone if as soon as you get it, you already feel like that's an old iPhone. That's not the point of this video. Alright, so first, iPhones from $150 to $300. That's right, that's how I decided to create this video, to create those categories, this price range. Because when you're planning on buying a new iPhone, you have a budget in mind, so then I decided to go along with a budget, right? So first, $150 to $300, if that's your budget, hear me out. First thing you gotta keep in mind is that if you have that kind of money, you're not gonna buy a new iPhone. There's just no way. All iPhones available between $150 to $300 are refurbished iPhones, so renewed iPhones. Please keep that in mind. This is super important. There's just no new iPhones available at that price range. Alright, if you're not really sure what a refurbished iPhone is, I do recommend that you take a look at this video right here, link in the description, where I explain you everything you need to know. But pretty much a refurbished iPhone is an iPhone that has been restored. So pieces and parts and screens and batteries will be replaced, and then you feel like the iPhone is brand new, but it's not. It's kind of brand new, but it's not, okay? So please keep that in mind. And there are levels of refurbishment as well, right? So for that amount of money, my recommendation is the iPhone 11. That's the best option you can get between $150 and $300. You can get it for around $220. Again, refurbished, right? Renewed, but a good phone. Just the iPhone XR, XS, and SE2, they're just not good options. They are between that price range as well, but I don't recommend, just because the XR and the XS, they are too old. Even though they can run iOS 17, the processors are just too old. The A12 is an old processor, 5 generations ago. I don't recommend, and the SE2 just feels very old, just because you have a physical button, big bezel, so I don't recommend either. So then $150 to $300, my recommendation is super easy, iPhone 11. Now let's talk about iPhones from $300 to $600. So that mid-tier right there, if you have a little bit more cash on you. At that price point, you can already get some new iPhones, so brand new, out of the box, sealed iPhones, but not all options are new at that price point still, right? My recommendation for that price range would be the iPhone SE 3, the iPhone 12, and the iPhone 13 for big important reasons. Again, the iPhone SE 3, even though it's a good phone, again, it feels like a really old project. It just looks like an iPhone 8. So even though it's a good option, I don't really recommend unless you really love the size and Touch ID. So think if that's an option for you. If you're thinking about the iPhone 12, even though it's a good phone, the problem with it is battery. Battery life is really bad on the iPhone 12. So again, it's an option, but if you can, spend a little bit more cash and get an iPhone 13, which pretty much deals with all of those issues, and you get a really good iPhone all around. Thinking of other options, like for example the 12 mini and the 12 Pro series, I don't recommend the 12 mini for the same reason. Terrible battery, even worse than the iPhone 12, of course, and the iPhone 12 Pro series is just too expensive for what it delivers. So it's a no recommendation right there. And thinking about other options for the iPhone 13 series, a very good option, compelling option, is the iPhone 13 Pro Max. If you want to spend a little bit more towards the end of that price range, getting closer to like $600, it's a great phone. You get great battery, a good size display, it's a big phone, awesome cameras, processor is new, is the A15, so I only have compliments about this phone. I super recommend it as well if you're thinking about getting closer to $600. I think it's a good option. You feel like you have a new phone, a Pro Max phone, that's a great option as well. Please keep in mind that again, for that price range, most iPhone models you'll get are refurbished. For that very same reason we talked about, they are older iPhones manufactured many years ago and out of production. Apple just don't manufacture those phones anymore for a few years actually. The only exceptions we have here are the normal iPhone 13 that you can still buy from Apple brand new, and the iPhone SE 2 as well. Those are still being produced. But if you want to get from Apple brand new, you're gonna need to pay premium on top of those prices, those values that I just mentioned, all right? I'm giving you the best offers, the lower prices. And last but not least, let's talk about the high-end iPhone. So from $600 and up, $600 plus. And of course, here we're talking about the 14 series and the 15 series. And for that amount of money, my recommendation is for the lower end of that margin, right? Of course, the iPhone 14 and 14 Plus. Great options for around $600. If you want to buy them from Apple, Apple still sells them as well. You're going to need to pay premium as well, but you can take a look around other stores, other options, and you may find brand new iPhones 14 and 14 Plus brand new for around $600, $650. So great option for that amount of money, all right? I do recommend that you skip the iPhone 14 Pro series just because they're pretty much as expensive as the 15 Pro series, which are 1 year newer, and of course you're gonna get last year's iPhone, so actually 2 years ago, right? So it makes no sense, so skip the 14 Pro series. And the 15 series, the normal 15, I also think you should skip in favor of the 14 and the 14 Plus. So then my recommendation would be the 15 Pro Max if you want to get the high-end, top-of-the-line iPhone. I don't recommend the 15 Pro just because battery, right? It's a Pro phone with a ton of features, but it's small, so battery is small. So I really don't recommend the 15 Pro. Go ahead and upgrade to the 15 Pro Max if you want to get the best, latest and greatest that Apple can offer. So again, just like the previous price range that I was talking about, if you're thinking about paying $600 or more, you can pay around that amount of money, around $600 to $650 for a 14 or 14 Plus, or if you want to get the top of the line, 15 Pro Max. So that's pretty much it. So if you have between $200 and $1,200, those are the iPhones that I recommend you to get, and those are the iPhones that I recommend you to skip. Okay, so that's pretty much it. That's my 2024 iPhone guide buy. I do hope you liked it. It was helpful. It's gonna help you make a great decision, and that's it. I'll see you on the next video as usual, guys. Bye bye.